Hey all, Jason Levon, priest at St. Luke's Episcopal Church in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Welcome to another Pause and Pray. Last words are for fools who haven't said enough. Those words come from the German political philosopher Karl Marx. And if I'm going to be honest with you, they don't take much reflection in my own life to see the wisdom behind them. Because I have an ego. And with any little bit of reflection in my life, when I look at relationships or conversations where I was bent on getting in the last word edgewise, it was always a foolish endeavor. It always is a foolish endeavor. Because if the goal is to get an edge on somebody, then that closes any doors to further growth and conversation in a relationship. I also know those times when I found the grace, and believe me, it was grace, it wasn't my own doing, to put aside my ego and not try to get in the last word edgewise. But that actually was able to open up beautiful doors of growth and conversation in relationships, as I found myself listening more to understand than to be understood, as that beautiful prayer of St. Francis reflects upon. And it seems when we look at life through the lens of Scripture, we see that God is really not interested in last words either. In today's daily office, we read from chapter 21 of the book of Revelation, written to a community that was experiencing intense and dark persecution. And there was a very real fear that darkness was going to have the last word. But the book of Revelation is offered to them as this vision, not so much to predict the future, but to give them comfort in the present, to see that God was still alive and very much at work. In chapter 21 of Revelation, from which we read today, they're encouraged to trust that God is actually continuing to work to make all things new. That is the eternal work of God in the beginning, now, and into the future, to keep making all things new. And it's in that concept of eternity that we as people of faith unearth the wisdom that if eternity is real, then there really are no last words, but only a love that's willing and able to keep making all things new over and over and over and over. And maybe in that there's a beautiful and holy invitation for people like me with egos to pause and pray about today. Not turning to God with words and trying to get the last word edgewise in with God, as I sometimes do in my prayer, but to simply and silently offer our lives to the love that longs to keep making them new again and for all eternity. God's peace and blessings to you all.